Happy Monday and welcome to the Racing Insiders podcast. I was supposed to say the episode number, but I didn't write it down. I think it's maybe one. I'll find out.
10,005.
No, it is May 22nd, 2023. Yeah, we've been at this about 3 years, Steve. It's over 3 years actually. Yeah. Which is kind of a trip. I mean, it's 1 week kind of goes to the next.
Exactly.
And I am Kate Dillon.
Pretty much weekly, though.
Pretty much, mostly.
I mean,
yeah. That's why we're at 150 something. Yeah, and I am Kate Dillon from CrateInsider, and with my co-host Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. And Steve, how are you doing on this happy Monday?
I am doing actually really well.
Cool.
Good day today.
Good. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I just got some shit done on a Monday.
Actually, we did too.
Phone actually rang this week so far, so yeah, good.
Yeah. It's been a good week so far for sure. I mean, I know it's just Monday, but yeah, I'm just gonna look up and see what episode this is. So I can do that because I'm just gonna type in RacingInsidersPodcast.com, and that takes you to our podcast page.
Very distracting.
Well, I mean, you don't. Yeah. Okay. I'm running.
This must be 155.
Yep. Yeah. Episode 155. 155 because last week was 154. 54.
I need 52 chicken wings.
Exactly what I was thinking.
God, dude, that was an epic freaking night.
Tell that story because that's a funny one.
A buddy of mine, his nickname was, his last name's Miller, but that's who he was, as Miller, and he also drank Miller Lite, so Miller. But he we went to Quaker Steak and Lube down in Concord. We were there for, I can't remember,
World Finals,
some shit like that, and everybody had hotel rooms and all that stuff. And we go into after the race, and this is back when Quaker Steak was down there, and go in after the race, and we're all in there just hammering down drinks, having a good time, and waitress comes up, and we all order our food, and she's like, ask Miller, like, what do you want? He's like, I want 52 chicken wings. She's like, sir, we don't offer 52 chicken wings. And he's like, I want 52 chicken wings in a bucket to go. I'll be damned if they didn't come up with 52 chicken wings in a bucket to go for him. And then ended up back at my room eating chicken wings. And then I think he wandered the halls the rest of the night, like bringing chicken wings to everybody.
He's the chicken wing fairy.
It was fucking hilarious. But I mean, you had to be there. I mean, it sounds probably stupid, but
no, but it's funny.
If you were there, it was hilarious.
Well, it always comes up though. It's like, I'll have 52 chicken wings. Yeah, 52. You got to say it that way.
52.
Yep. It's pretty funny. Of course, every week we are here to answer tech questions, except for we're mostly here every week. Yeah. Speaking of weeks, though, you and I were just talking about next Monday being Memorial Day. We will be observing Memorial Day, and we will not be having a podcast.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's kind of the plan there.
So, week after, I guess, which should be June.
Golly. Really?
That's freaking flown by.
Wow. It's blown by fast.
I know.
For sure. That is crazy. And
halfway through the year.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's flying by. I mean, it's just we go from like one highlight to the next. Like we kick it off with like New Year's Cars Racing Show, Insane Season, then Racing Season, then Rebuild Season, and all and life things and holidays.
Hopefully, rainy season will quit here before long, so people can actually race. But
yeah. No kidding. No, everything. Yeah, rain kills a lot for sure. Yep. It can rain all at once during the week. It's just not on weekends.
I don't give a shit during the week. I'm inside half the time anyway. That's why I'm such a white boy.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple of folks here, and if you are here, drop in a comment, say hey, or drop in a question, kind of whatever you guys got, and we're here for it.
Yep.
For sure. I see Scott is here. He says, hi, SNK from California, where normal isn't. Boy, there's no truer statement's been said. Yeah.
If it's got to be normalized, it ain't normal. So.
Yeah, you had a meme about that
I
this
did.
last week. If something needs to be normalized,
Yep.
it's not normal.
No.
For sure. I see Justin is here. He says, Steve, I called and you put me in touch with your brother last week.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me tips to dial in my new E85 carb. It did the trick. Thank you guys
Awesome.
so much. Great show, great info.
Glad to hear it.
Great. Well, thanks so much for the follow up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know Mike is really so knowledgeable.
He's pretty good with carburetors. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm a bit jealous, honestly.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he's just that good with that shit, and it's just never been anything that ever appealed to me.
Yeah, but you're good with the programming of the machinery, like CNC stuff.
Oh, I do all that, but like I said, that carburetor thing, he's got that shit down pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I
mean, within our wheelhouse of what we do, but
yeah, no, not for every application, every kind of car
not
that's
every
ever been made.
Ever, no.
Yeah. We did get a question. I think this one came from YouTube, and I'm not sure how you'll answer this, but Nathan is asking, what is your favorite ease of maintenance modification you do to your cars?
Ease of maintenance?
Yeah. Do you do anything do you do any modifications to the cars to make them easier to maintain?
No, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not.
I'm just reading the question.
Yeah, I'm just not completely understanding the question.
Yeah.
Ease of maintenance, have my kid do it. I mean, that would be my suggestion. I mean,
yeah,
stand there, watch them do it, make sure they do it right. I really don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure of his question, but so I'd throw that out there. Maybe there's I mean, for instance, like wheel covers. Like the Kaiser wheel covers come with the bolts already on them, and even though they're bolts, whereas other ones would have holes, and then you'd have to put the bolts in.
Right.
So I mean, that would be
that's not maintenance.
No, but I'm just giving you ease of use. I'm just giving you an example of something that could be an ease of use type of a situation.
Right.
Anybody else has questions? Go ahead, drop them in.
Wash your race car. Wash the engine.
Yeah.
That way, it's much easier to work on a clean car than it is a dirty car.
Well, I mean, and that does bring up a point. What do you do? Obviously, you take the carburetor and air filter off, but how do you seal that up? Do you use a carb pad or do you use?
What are you talking about?
When you're washing the race car,
yeah,
you have to take off the carburetor.
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't? But no. You have to take the air filter off.
It gets covered up. Yeah.
Oh, the carb hat is what covers up the.
Yeah.
Oh, the top of the carburetor.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean,
that's not ease of maintenance. That's just washing.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was just an idea.
I just don't completely understand the question. Sorry.
Okay. Well, have there been any questions that? Hey, I brought a question to the table here. So. How about you? Have there been any?
You know how it is. I need to write this shit down, and I always forget to. But no, not really. I think the biggest question was from probably Danielle, who works for you, asking when I'm going to come out with like the official 2023 recommendation sheet from us.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that. In between.
Okay.
Doing stuff at the shop, but that'll probably be out within a week or so.
Okay.
I'm late on it just because we've been so damn busy.
Well, I mean, I'll appreciate that, because then what I'll do from there is shoot a video.
Yeah, and then you brought up a good point too about the 525. So I think I'm gonna have to sit down and do one of those as well.
I think it would be good. And as for anybody who's not familiar with this, Steve for several years has come out with recommendations each year about all the bolt-ons and some.
Probably about 10 years now, I guess.
Has it been that long?
To it, yeah.
Yeah. I think I started shooting those videos in probably 2016 or 17.
And of course, it's opinion based. I mean, it's the stuff that we've found to work.
So, well, okay. I mean, you say opinion based.
Opinions may vary. I mean, it's like everything. I mean, yeah. I mean, my opinion on a gun may be different than your opinion on a gun, or what lube I use or whatever. Yeah. I mean, opinions vary, but it's just a recommendation of what we send out with every engine that we send out the door. And it's our recommendation of what we know works.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you ask for somebody, like, opinion would be, hey dude, should I paint my car yellow or purple? That's an opinion. That is not actually based in any fact unless you back it up with something.
Yeah, but
you have data that supports your choices, at least in the markets that you are in.
But it's my data.
Right.
So when, that's the tricky part about giving advice or giving this recommendation sheet is, I mean, I ask nothing from any of these companies that send me products to test and stuff to try. I just don't.
Yeah.
You may have other people out there who say this carburetor spacer works better because, maybe they're making 20% more on that product than I'm making on something that I'm not, actively stocking or selling or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and also your recommendations can't cover every single product that's ever been made in the history of man.
oh God, no.
I mean, there's, who knows how many racing oils there are. You've
Right.
tested a ton of them, but you still, there are ones that you're going to recommend that you have experience with.
Yeah.
And sure, there's going to be some other oils out there.
I'm sure there's other ones out there that perform as good, but it's just, you can't test everything all the time.
Yeah. And may not be something that's, very prevalent in our area type of thing.
Normally my recommendation stuff, the stuff I'm 100% confident in, you pretty much know it by the verbiage.
Right. Yeah. That reminds me, I did have another question, but I see we have, I'll work on getting that question. It was from my email, but I see Henry is here and he says, when using a Holley 4412 on a 602 or a 604, what RPM do you see the power drop and the vacuum ramp up? Say a Willie's carb, for example.
I'm sorry. Nothing we do requires a 602 to have a 4412. So I don't even know that we dynoed one before. So I honestly have no clue. That would honestly be a better question for Willie. And if you call him, Willie's a good friend of mine. He'll be happy to answer that question.
Yeah.
Just nothing we do here in our realm requires that.
Yeah, we don't have any 2-barrel stuff around here. I mean, there's a ton of 2-barrel stuff.
Well, I mean, nothing in the dirt late model world, or nothing in the most of the street stock world that I deal with. Usually, the rules that I've seen where they require a 2-barrel is going to be an asphalt kind of scenario. Or there could be
mods.
Is there a bunch of mods? Okay.
All of the sport mods.
Yeah, okay, I don't know.
All the sport mods.
I don't deal with that IMCA kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's not in this kind of area of the country. Of course, I do because
but I would certainly give Willie a call and ask to speak to Willie, and he'll get on the phone with you and explain that or give you an answer to that.
Yeah. I do have a question for you that it came through from my email. I was looking for it so I could read the exact verbiage, but basically, what are your thoughts on using pen grade 20W50 again a 602?
Do not.
I mean, I pretty much knew that was the answer.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that oil.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add to that?
I'm certainly not a fan of running 20W50 in a 602.
Yeah.
So that is a power killing deal, and that's not the greatest oil in the world.
Gotcha.
So just from what I know about oil, and from our dyno testing, now I never actually dyno tested their 2050, but I know what 2050 weight oil does in a 602, and it just robs power. And there's no reason to run a 2050 in a engine that essentially has stock clearances. So 1030 is what we normally recommend. 1040, 1540, 540.
Yeah. But not a 2050.
Not a 2050.
I know.
2050 oils work best in actual race clearance engines, which is going to be, super late model kind of stuff or built motors.
Okay. That's a good answer to that. I mean, for great understanding there. Great. And let's see. Roy says, does the Gorsuch 6-blade fan pull more air than a GM 4-blade?
Yeah. And it sucks about 5 or 10. It sucks about 10 more horsepower off the engine at the rear tires than the 4-blade GM. I assume you're talking about the 19-inch fan. So in my testing, I don't know what kind of engine you have, but on a 604, if you take no fan at all and you make a pass on the chassis dyno, you get, let's just say, X amount of horsepower.
That's your base case.
That's your base. You put that 4-blade GM fan on there and you lose 20 horsepower at the rear tires, provided that your front drive system is 100% positively driven. In other words, you've got no slippage.
Okay.
If you take that off and you put the Gorsuch 6-blade on there, you'll lose 30 horsepower at the rear tires.
And special guest Pippi.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Showing his ass again.
Well, they're seeing it from the side, so they're seeing him in
Right.
profile here. It's funny.
But no, so yeah, that is a horrible power draw. I mean, that fan belongs on a super late model at Eldora in the middle of summer, where it's main event time and no power matters because you're already in the slick, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
On a crate car, no, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball, so to speak.
Great. Okay. Next question is from Kyle. He says, what amount of valve spring preload do you recommend on a 602 engine?
So if you're talking about like rocker setting, then we go with 3/4 of turn preload. So valve, not valve lash, but preload.
Okay.
We do that on the 604 and the 602 as well.
What's the difference between preload and lash?
Well, lash, I mean, you can run them. The old school method was run them at 0. Which, I mean, that's, old school stuff, but no, we run 3/4 of a turn preload. So in other words, you're going to 0, turn the nut 3/4 of a turn, back off about 1/8 of a turn, tighten on the center adjuster, come back up, and you're at 3/4 of a turn preload.
Okay.
Lash would be you're running distance between the rocker and the valve.
Okay.
So lash is required normally on a solid lifter cam.
Well, except for if you want to do your 1/4 turn preload, the tool that we use is our LSM Racing Products valve lash adjusting tool. so that's why I'm asking, like, okay, what's the difference here? So the tool we use is called a valve lash, valve lash adjusting tool. All right. And next up is from Darren. He says, Steve's recommended valve spring change on a 602 in an imca hobby stock that runs a Rochester 2-barrel stock exhaust manifolds with a 6200 chip.
Generally, I think in that application, you can get away with a little bit more than what we do out here because we're turning those motors 64, and most of these guys are on the chip, by the end of the straightaway pretty hard, depending on the scenario. And I'm normally recommending every 3 to 4 races. So at 6,200, where you're limited like that, I'm going to say you can get away with at least another 3 races after that.
Yeah, you're just not pushing them.
And then don't buy into the whole, please don't buy into the whole, $384 a set springs that measure 84 pounds. That's all bullshit. So
yeah, don't do that.
There's plenty of people out there advertising those, by the way. So.
Really? There's a pile of them now?
Well, no, I don't know about plenty. There's one place that does. But.
Yeah. All right. I love this comment. So Dunning Shade says, your cat needs his own podcast.
Yeah, he probably does, honestly.
It's funny. There have been all these comments that if you look at a picture of Pippi, when you can get enough light on him, he looks like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. I knew I'd seen pictures of Toothless. I thought I'd seen the movie, but I hadn't before. So I actually watched it last night. It was great. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, but like I bought Pippi a Halloween costume and I got him his bat wings. So that's when he really looked like Toothless. And yeah, that's hilarious. He could have his own podcast.
I watched Better Call Saul last night. So
oh, did you?
I think I got like 2 episodes left.
Yeah. Better Call Saul kind of lost me after a while.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I've been on a James Bond movie tear. So I have now watched all of the James Bond movies that are available on HBO Max.
There you go.
in the last week.
I mean, you can't go wrong with James Bond. I mean, no. I like them all. So.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny looking at the old ones. And I mean, Sean Connery is absolutely a badass when it comes to being James Bond.
Yeah.
But this whole we're just going to grab women and start kissing them while they flail their arms and then they finally relent. It's like, oh my God, this is so not, you cannot make this today.
Couldn't do that movie today.
No, it's just not how that worked. It looks a little, it looks like a little sketch there. Yeah.
Now you got to watch all the Austin Powers and see all the comparisons.
Yeah, exactly. To see the direct comparisons. Of course, I have seen Austin Powers for sure. Yeah, it's great. Oh, Dunning's asking, how do you spell his name? It's Pippi, Pippi.
Yep.
Yeah, because Pippi was found like on the back patio. It was a neighbor cat that
During the
had
pandemic.
kittens. Yeah. And Steve scooped him up and thought he was a girl. So he was Pippi.
I just call him Pipsqueak.
Yeah. Well, I think he was Pipsqueak, and then so his name was Pippi, and then we found out he was a boy, and it was like, we're just gonna go with it.
Because he was
Fine.
he was the littlest of the litter, but he was the one smartest enough to come to me.
Yeah.
And then I picked him up, and then the others hauled ass. I'm like, here's your new cat, Kate.
Like, I don't want another cat. But here we are. Here we are. Pippi is a joy. He is so spoiled. He is so spoiled.
Oh, it's beyond spoiled.
Oh, yeah. He's so spoiled. Yeah, that's all right. And all right, so Henry says, sorry, but had a phone call. Phone ball come while talking about fans. I have the GM metal 4-blade.
Yep.
What do you suggest? I'm running a race gas with a double pass.
Generally, so what I go for now is that race fan, which I believe you sell. So that race fan, it is a hub with blades that are attachable to it. So you can like basically tune it around the cooling that you need. Generally on gas, I mean, if you got a good shroud built, you can get away with like probably a, if you want to use a 19-inch, depending on what you got for a shroud. So if you got a 4-blade 19-inch, you probably got a 19-inch shroud. You can probably take one of those, drop down to 3 blades, and that'll work just fine. But you've got the opportunity or the option to go to 2 blades if you can get away with it, or you can go up to 4 blades.
Yeah, and it's great because like the center hub is CNC machines, T6 or 6160 T6 aluminum, and it has all these holes in it. And those holes correspond with the blades.
Correct.
And so you can go with 2 blades, 3 blades, 4 blades,
right,
or 6, which we would never do in a crate.
No, we wouldn't do that.
And then also then you can really tune it because we've got blades that will make it a 15-inch fan, a 17-inch fan, or
correct,
a 19-inch fan.
Yeah. So essentially what you want to do, any crate application, I don't care what it is, you want to run the least amount of blade diameter and or number of blades that you possibly can.
Because any fan is going to take horsepower away, correct?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So if we want to take the least amount of horsepower away while getting adequate cooling.
So if you take a 17-inch 2-blade compared to having no fan on there at all, that basically draws about 4.5 to 5 horsepower off of the rear tires. So that's your best case scenario. I mean, yeah, you can get down to a 15. Again, you got to have like super shroud built to do that, and which we haven't done that. But I would imagine it'd take off like maybe another horsepower or something like that. But essentially, you want to hover around that 5 horsepower at the rear tires is what you want to take off the engine.
Well, and while we're talking about shrouds, let's talk about where you want to place your fan. Whether you want it to be in and out, you want it, half in, half out.
So
tell that story.
Yeah, one of my good friends, Ronnie Johnson, Hall of Fame, freaking dirt late model race car driver. He taught us years ago that really, or taught me and my brother years ago that, you want that shroud. A lot of people say you want the blades half in, half out. That's not what we found to be true, thanks to Ronnie. And so we basically run the back of the blade at the very back of the shroud.
Okay.
And that provides, that's worked out to be the best cooling we found.
Excellent. So, yeah. Speaking of Hall of Fame.
Results may vary. I'm sure there's some asshole on YouTube going to be like, no, it's going to be half in, half out. But no, that's what we found.
He's probably running ab gas.
Yeah, probably. if he is, you're outrunning him. So.
For anybody who's new to the podcast, one of our most commented clips that we've taken from the podcast is answering a question about avgas. And boy, there's some hardcore avgas fans out there.
Yeah, I think they're like 82 years old, but I don't know.
Well, they have always run it and they've always had success with it, Steve.
Right,
so,
that's right.
I
won a heat race one time in 1965 on avgas.
Yeah, of course, that was the only. I don't know. I forget. Now, have you ever really run avgas in your racing career?
Fuck no.
No, but when I was a kid in the 80s,
Right.
yeah, sure, my dad did. You
Right.
know,
I
but
mean, there's people that did, yeah.
but that
you know,
was in the 70s. You know,
Right.
70s, maybe early 80s, mostly 70s.
right.
I mean, that's what was
in the
available.
70s. Well, I didn't race in the 70s, but
Right.
80s, 90s, and beyond. Or until I moved here. I mean, hell, we were on methanol.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shit.
Well, it just depends on where you were. I mean, what was legal and what wasn't, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But speaking of Hall of Fame, I actually had one of my Facebook friends message me and told me that my dad is getting inducted in some Iowa Racing Hall of Fame.
He needs to be.
And the funny thing is, my dad came by the shop today, and I got to say hi to him, but I forgot to mention about the whole Hall of Fame thing.
That's cool.
So,
shit.
yeah, it was really cool. So my dad is, in case, especially any of your Midwesterners, my dad is Dick Schiltz, number 97. Yep. So he doesn't race anymore, but raced for a long time in the, down here in the South, but also
built race cars.
Built race cars. And he is quite the innovator for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Your dad and my brother are like probably the two fabricators, that I know that are just freaking awesome at what they do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think, I get that creativity of like, okay, I just got to make something work. What's around me? And, you start MacGyvering, just figuring something out. And not that I can't fabricate, not like that or anything, but just the sheer, just being creative and using what you have.
Well, now your dad's hobby is like restoring badass cars too. So,
yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
His attention to detail, it's like so anal retentive.
Oh yeah.
These things turn out awesome.
Yeah. It's also cool too. He's been working on his shop, and I haven't seen his new shelving, but he's I like getting him those, like those motor state cars that we get. And I give them to him every year for Christmas. And now he's got a whole shelf that he can display those.
That's awesome.
So, or like a case kind of thing. So it's really cool. All right. Alan is here and he says, Steve, what is the magic durometer number for Hoosier tires, or any example of good tire reading of a racing tire?
I don't think there's a magic number. I mean,
it depends on which tires
depends
too.
On the track and the tire and the exact scenario. I mean, gosh, there's no magic number, because it's like, what do you want the tire to do? I mean, when do you want it to fire? How long do you want it to live? There's no magic number. So the compound to the track surface means everything.
Mm-hmm.
And how you groove it, how you sipe it, whether you're needling it or not. I mean, there's so many different variables there. It's insane. Tires are a science.
Yeah.
As much as the shock guys, because I think the most important guys today right now are the shock guys when it comes to dirt late model racing, at least. And really, I mean, Crate Racing USA street stocks or mods or whatever. I mean, the shock guy is the guy, but you also have to have a damn tire scientist working for you, basically, if you're allowed to groove, sipe, needle, and everything else.
It'd be interesting to, I know I talked a little bit about this with Matt Henderson, and we talked about how if you can have somebody on your crew that every time you come off the racetrack, that they get temperatures from all of your tires.
Yeah, correct.
From the outside, from the center, and on the inside. Mm-hmm. And that data can be incredibly useful for your shock guy, and that way how you can see how your tire wear is going. And obviously there's a lot more to it.
Compound you may or may not want to switch to, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot to it, and it'd be a very interesting, next time we get Matt on the show, we'll have to ask him some more detailed questions about that.
Yeah, see, I used to be, so back in the day, I was a big proponent of actually, tire prep. So,
well, hey, I mean, it wasn't illegal back then.
No, it wasn't illegal back then. And so, we had some stuff that we used, and it was more so than softening the tire, it was actually a conditioner, which I know you sell some conditioners at CrateInsider.
Mm-hmm. They're not illegal everywhere.
They're not illegal everywhere, no. And so, there's conditioners out there that, like, gosh, I think the first time we ever tested with tire conditioner, I think we were like picking up like 0.2.
Mm-hmm.
But that 0.2 held on for however long versus like softener. I mean, back in the day, back in the super late model days, everybody was like using softener. take a D28 and soften the shit out of it.
Well, and let's talk about the
like
difference.
But
yeah, well, let's talk about the difference because in a softener, what we're doing is actually breaking down the compound. So if you take rubber, and then you put a softener on it, what you're trying to do is kind of melt the rubber because as it melts, it's going to be grippy. It's kind of like meat tenderizing. It's all about starting to break down, like break down in the cells, which is probably the biggest reason why so many of these are outlawed today.
Yeah.
Whereas a conditioner is going to be more like if we think about an old car with leather seats and they're about to crack and you put a leather conditioner on them and they can be like new.
Yeah, basically, you want that tire to last for longer.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the Goodyear days when we were running Goodyears on several tours that we ran out here in the crate late model stuff, we were using the absolute shit out of freaking tire conditioner. And I think I got the track I raced every Friday night. We used one set of tires for that place. I think we used them 9 weeks in a row. And I think I won like 7 out of the 9 nights with those same damn tires using tire conditioner.
Were you racing against my brother?
I was.
Well, he's got a comment for you right here.
He would have won the other 2.
Cheater.
Well, he would have won the other 2 nights. But he never washed his fucking race car when he showed up. So.
Oh man. And so that's my brother. Jimmy Schiltz there. He says cheater.
And by the way, if you need a wrap on your race car, there's the man who owns Dirt Wrap. So hit him up on the sidebar there and he will hook you up.
Oh, incredibly talented.
We're talking, he's done my stuff for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Does my son's stuff. Most of the top dirt late model guys, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the man to do your wrap right there.
Absolutely. Very talented. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about what you're drinking tonight, Steve.
Yingling Flight.
Yingling Flight. I am drinking Crystal Light lemonade.
Yep.
Yeah. In my Racing Insiders podcast Yeti mug.
I guess we're still protesting Bud Light, right? Or can I say that on YouTube? Oh shit.
Yeah, I think you can say that.
All right.
There's plenty of other channels talking about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you can. God, people miss the point with that whole situation, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, rather than that, we are supporting Yuengling, the oldest brewery in the United States.
Right.
Yeah, we looked it up last night.
What was it? 18?
No, I think 1836. It's funny. It's not on the flight bottles, but it's on the lager cans.
That's right. Yeah, Miller was like 1855, and I think this was like 1836 or 37, something like that.
Yeah. If anybody else is looking at I'm just not going to get up and go look at a Yuengling can since I'm here on the podcast.
Good old Pennsylvania beer.
Yeah. Well, and then it's one of my favorites is to
at least it ain't Keystone.
Oh God, that's terrible. My favorite though is the Yuengling Hershey's. So Yuengling and Hershey's working together. Good. So I bought like 2 12-packs when I could find them. I did see a meme today that I thought about sending you. Because I like the Yuengling Hershey's too. I mean, I can drink one of them. Yeah. But I'm savoring it like little bit by little bit. It's like a 6-pack of Yuengling Hershey's. And it was like, this is where God left us. It is. That is like, it's the beer of the gods right there. No. It was the opposite. That's what it meant. Oh. It was like, yeah. Oh, it's like the downfall of civilization because we got chocolate mixed with beer. Apparently, I don't have no idea. I don't know. I think so. It's what I was alluding to. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So if you ever have a chance, it's like seasonal. I think they make it just in the like in the winter time. Right. So if you ever get a chance to try a Yuengling Hershey's, it's pretty fucking good. Yeah, so I can drink one, but beyond that, I don't like sweet hardly anything. But yeah. I mean, it's not something that you're going to sit by the pool and like, drink a 12-pack of. I mean, it's more of it's like a dessert beer. Yeah, enjoy it's got chocolate in it. Right. No, it's really good. But of course, I like porters and stouts and all that good stuff. So, I think that's most of the questions that we've gotten in the past week. Any other thoughts? Any plans for Memorial Day? Probably sit out on the back deck and drink beer. Maybe light the barbecue. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you've learned now. You can't say that anymore. Oh yeah, it's a grill. Shit, fuck. I'm living in the wrong part of the country to call it a barbecue. It's a grill. Mm-hmm. So I'll sit down here and light the grill. Yeah, we have a friend that is super southern, super southern, and we don't want to make him angry. So, yeah.
Let's not make John angry.
No. And there are some things that apparently are, I think in every portion of the country, there's something that's sacred that you cannot mess with.
Right.
And the difference between grilling and barbecuing is just one of those things that is at least North Carolina, it's a thing. It is absolutely a thing. Yeah. Oh, and let's see. We got a couple. Let's see. Charles says, did Alex figure out what went wrong at Harris?
Oh, yeah. No, we did. So this was like a huge freaking cluster. Mm-hmm. So the spindles that were purchased for the car ended up having a 1.5 kingpin inclination variance from the spindles that should have been on the car.
Mm-hmm.
And this was from a well-known manufacturer who is selling spindles for, longhorn front end, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's what happened.
Yeah, you got it fixed
And the problem the entire night was he had no feeling in the front end at all. And of course, this stems back to, blowing the right front tire, knock the front clip off the car, having it reclipped, going back through the whole front end, buying all new shit. And so, yeah, that's what ended up being the scenario.
Well, and it's good that you found it and know what it is.
So needless to say, those will get junked and those will never be purchased again from that particular manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not going to name names because, I don't. But no, so those were like garbage spindles, and that's what ended up happening there. Everything else in the car is fine. The front end settings obviously were way off just because of that. The kingpin inclination angle, that just screwed everything.
It's interesting. We talk about that a lot in Race Logic, because pin inclination is definitely one of those things that Dave Hammond talks about a lot. And, checking over your spindles and all that.
The bad thing about it was it was nothing my brother and Alex or even I thought about, because it was the same manufacturer of the spindles that were on there before he knocked the freaking fence down because he blew a right front tire.
Yeah.
So
I like this. Donnie and Shane, we're having whiskey and some water, hence loving the cat.
Nice.
Yeah.
That works.
That's fun. Well, cool. All right. Well, we're going to be off for a week out there grilling.
Probably so.
Having some beverages. Just kind of hanging out.
Adult beverages.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have margaritas or something. But
that show was good last night.
Yeah. Margaritas made margaritas last night.
Oh yeah.
It is literally just following the directions on the mix. So it's not. I'm not going to take big credit.
I'm not saying it's the greatest margarita I ever had. I'm just saying, like last night, it was like,
it's good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, cool thing. All righty. We'll wrap things up. Do you have any final thoughts, Steve?
I'm going to go eat a sandwich.
All righty. Yep. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and like this video. And also leave us a review over in, Apple iTunes. That's a great place to leave a review. And we would certainly appreciate that so much.
Yep. Tell us we're dickheads. We don't care. Just leave a review.
Oh, those things hurt my feelings. So don't. All right. So thanks, you guys. And we'll see you in 2 weeks from now. And this is the end of episode 155. 55. See you later.
Later.